All right, so here we are with the 8670 Bluff. Now we're going to put a new knife through the crowbar. You probably recognize this guy. This is a Kabar. I've had this Kabar for a while and it's been on some adventures with me. It's quite a bit thicker than the knife that I put through. So I'm going to take this knife that is much thicker. It has a much more obtuse grind angle than the Bluff knife does. And this is a Kabar knife, not a knockoff. The edge of the sharpened edge is also going to be more obtuse than the Bluff was. But where these knives are pretty similar in price in terms of getting this guy from me during a sale or buying it not on my Etsy store but directly from me, these guys are going to run on pretty similar price tags. So let's see how the USMC Kabar stands up to the bar. And I call this thing a crowbar in my videos. Call it a wrecking bar, but I call it a crowbar. All right, so I just sharpened the Kabar up. It's sitting at about like a 40-degree edge. And when I say 40 degrees, I mean I sharpened it on each side somewhere between 30 and 40 degrees, just because this knife has a very short bevel and it's decently thick, thicker than my Bluff knife. So going into this test, it is going to go in with almost double the thickness or the obtuseness of the edge angle. So we'll see how that pans out. That may help it out quite a bit, but we'll find out. I wanted to make sure that I started out with an edge that could take hair, and there we go. We have some hair, so it is able to cut hair, and I'm just not willing to take the time to reprofile this whole edge back so that I can get a more narrow edge. That's the state the spine is in when we start. There's chipping in the paint, and that's about it. This thing has taken some knocks in its day, but not enough to really gamble its integrity too much. So we'll see how this thing does. It may crush it in this test. It may fail. Let's find out. Okay. Like a genius. Okay. Okay. We got a little bit of dulling, but that's to be expected because this is hardened steel. I'm going to try to spread the damage out so we don't get a premature break. Oh, we got our first big chip. See that right there? That's our first big chip. Okay, so that's one difference right there. That chip went a lot deeper on its first big chip versus all the chips on the Bluff. Okay, that's not, I'm going to try to avoid hitting it right on that spot so I don't. Well, didn't make it past the peak. So, I did think that it would go further than that. So here's what the break looks like. Yeah, it looks like once that first chip started, it was just too much. So let's do a little comparison. All right, so here's the Kabar. And this was the first big chip that came, or the first chip that really came out of it. And then I was hitting it actually about right here. And so it probably picked up a fracture. But this is mine after making it all the way through the bolt. All the way through. That's the Kabar after making it only that far. And my knife was a whole lot thinner. Or rather, these are both my knives.
This is the one that I made. 8670. Dang good knife.